This is a podcast about both having autism and living with someone who has autism. My mom is Sonya, and I'm Josh, and this is Josh Has Autism.
Hey everybody, welcome to Josh Has Autism.
Hello.
So everybody, this is going to be a little bit different because Josh told me that he is not up to doing the podcast. He's not up to doing D&D tonight, which is something that he loves so very much. So we're going to jump right into it and not waste any time. Because Josh, you didn't want to do this podcast because you're not feeling okay. And so you said I should do this podcast because I'm not feeling okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, explain that.
So, for one thing, usually whenever I'm on the podcast, I'm able to talk for the most part. I'm able to laugh and joke with you. I'm able to come across as more upbeat, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not usually like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that was one thing that was important to get across to everyone listening, is that I'm not always okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not always outgoing,
Mm-hmm.
or even comfortable with social stuff.
Right.
And so for me I felt that it was important to make sure that that was addressed today.
Mm-hmm.
And because usually if something like that happens, it's not in the podcast that it's done, really.
Right.
And so that was something that was kind of important to me, that it is said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah.
So there have been times before where it was time to do a podcast and you couldn't do it.
Right.
So what's different this time? Why are you able to force yourself to do it?
One of the it's not even that I'm
Okay.
words.
Yeah, words. And by the way, you're doing a fantastic job of forming complete sentences with thoughts that make sense.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying.
Mm-hmm. How about if I asked you some questions?
That'd probably help.
Okay. Yesterday at work, you had to come home a little bit early.
Yes.
And I drove out to get you. Uncle Tracy was with me.
Mm-hmm.
And we went, and then you rode with me back home, and he drove your car.
Mm-hmm.
And was that the beginning of the feeling that you're having now? Or has it been happening for a while?
Yesterday at work, let me preface that by the night before work yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to sleep and couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so by the time I know from experience that if I'm up within 2 hours of me needing to get up, if I try and fall asleep, it's not going to work,
Mm-hmm.
of me getting up in time for when I need to.
Right.
And so I was up the whole night,
Mm-hmm.
even if I didn't want to be.
Right.
And so I got up and went to work after all the morning stuff. I was tired to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And about an hour and a half to 2 hours, it was actually closer to 2 hours prior to me getting off for the day, I started to notice that I'm not reacting as quickly as I need to be. And it concerned me a little bit.
So you realized you were just moving slow, and your functioning was slow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the time half an hour later, so an hour and a half left in the shift, I'm really noticing it.
Mm-hmm.
Enough that I'm worried that if it continues at that, I'm not going to be able to drive home safely.
Mm-hmm.
And so at quarter till, so an hour and 15 minutes or whatever is when you had gotten there
Mm-hmm.
to pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
And by that point, I was barely coherent.
Right. Right. And so much so that your boss stood outside with you.
Yeah.
Instead of leaving you alone out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is very cool.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a couple of things, because I think it's important to narrow it down. Do you feeling depressed?
No, not really.
Okay. Do you think it was because of the lack of sleep?
And a little bit by stress as well, but
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, lack of sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've noticed for a couple of weeks now that you were beginning to not communicate as well,
Mm-hmm.
and you began to just kind of be out of it a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that.
So yes, there's been a couple of weeks that you haven't really been yourself, that I've been noticing.
Yeah.
You're, like I said, you're sleeping more, you're not communicating as well.
Yeah.
You seem really, I wouldn't say sad, but certainly not yourself.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So do you think that we need to make a doctor's appointment maybe and talk about what's going on? Or do you know what's going on?
I don't know about a doctor's visit.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that I brought up last time I talked to the doctor
Mm-hmm.
that especially towards the end of the day, I'm not doing as well.
Right.
And that's when she brought up that the medicine only is supposed to last 10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? So...
But that's new. That's new because you've been on this medicine for a while, but it's new that towards the evening you're really having a difficult time.
Yeah.
And so yesterday when we went and got you, and you came home from work, you went straight to bed.
Yeah.
And you slept. And
Yeah.
so we picked you up at what?
I was home by 4:30.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was passed out by 4:30.
Yes, I was going to say, right.
And I woke up again shortly after 10
Mm-hmm.
that night.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
Came in and ate something,
Mm-hmm.
went back out and passed out again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
woke up at 10:20 the next day.
Yeah.
So today.
Right. So, is there anything that you can put your finger on that's different, and is there anything bothering you? Is there anything that has changed out of your routine?
I only remember the last one you asked, the change the routine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think so. But
Okay.
what were the other ones?
I'm just wondering, is there anything that you know that has been bothering you? Anything that's upsetting you?
Not that I can think of, no.
Okay.
I know that sometimes it just happens,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm not in as good of a mood or as social as people may want me to be, including myself.
Mm.
So it can be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that, again, you're doing a great job of expressing yourself, even though you don't really feel like doing it. And
I'm doing better than I was yesterday.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's
for sure. That's for sure. So, I think we need to figure out how to make sure that you're on a routine that you're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
Help you to sleep. We've gone over that before. Is that you should shut off any screen time before about an hour before bedtime.
Yeah.
Which you don't do because you read on your phone. So that doesn't happen. But this is concerning. I think it's legitimately alarming.
Yeah.
I know that you say that this happens. I understand that. I do get it. It's kind of secular where it's just right. It will ever so often happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you're okay with it, we could certainly, see how you're doing tomorrow. And if you're still having a difficult time, you just want to take you to the doctor and just make sure everything is okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this better than anyone. You have periods of time where you're just not yourself.
Yeah.
You're not okay.
Yeah.
And I can take you to the doctor and they go, oh, he's healthy. Yeah. But it is difficult.
Yeah.
And I also want
I thought of something, and that is that this last weekend, I worked over the weekend, and it was also Connor's birthday on Sunday, and it's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
So,
it does seem that lately you need more downtime. And I don't mean that you were worse off. I mean that there is so much going on that it really does take away that recharging time that you have.
Yeah.
And so I think that you might really be on to the culprit is that you've had too many days in a row where there's been demands that you show up somewhere.
Yeah, or do something, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that could very well be it. And, that's absolutely legitimate. I mean, anybody that's listening to this and kind of going, what? This is absolutely true. This is how you function.
Yeah.
It's how your body functions.
Yeah.
It's that when you say you need time that's...
Yeah.
When you say that you need downtime, you need alone time, you need time where there's no demands on you at all, I don't care if that's called antisocial, because I don't put it in that category. What I put that in category is you are taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
And it would seem that you've had a number of days in a row, more than normal, where you haven't had that time.
Right.
Yeah. There's been an awful lot going on. So that makes sense. And by the way, the doctor that I was talking about is not a family practitioner. It would be the doctor that knows you and knows medication and would understand what you're feeling. And I would take you there just to make sure everything is okay.
Yeah.
Because I think I know you well enough to know what's happening, but, you know, always, I don't leave you to chance. So that's not something I'm comfortable with. Yeah. You look exhausted.
I am. Still.
Yeah.
I am,
Yeah. Okay. So how about we finish up?
Okay.
And I'm so grateful for you just, finding it in you to come and do the podcast. And even if it is to tell people, I don't want to do this podcast.
Yeah.
It's like you're not up to doing it, but here you are,
Yeah.
which says an awful lot about you. So,
Thanks.
Yeah, I love you.
I love you.
And
But the next time that we do the podcast, I'll be 35.
This is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is true. Wow. Wow. Now I feel old.
You've been married 36 years. You'll get over it.
I know. I'll get over it. All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. And as always, if you have any insight on what we're talking about today, or if you've been dealing with something that's similar, please let us know. And we'd love to talk to you and get your input. And I think it's very, very helpful and important.
Yeah.
So everybody take care of yourself. If you need downtime, take it. If you need to take a time out for yourself or take care of your well-being, then do that. Because it doesn't matter what anybody else says. If you need it, you need it.
Yeah.
And it's important to take it.
Yeah.
So anyway, hug the people that are close to you, and hope everybody's happy and healthy. We'll hang out next week. Love you.
Bye.